lot in OneNote so far. Now we are really getting into the nuts and bolts of how this impacts our instructional environment and how it impacts our teaching. So if I cut this out, you can clearly see that I'm just in a workspace here. I gotta have the green screen behind me, and I am using this device right in front of me. I simply have it projected on the green screen behind me, and I'm down in the bottom corner. Okay, so you can see I'm doing this in real time in this video with you. This is not spliced together or anything. This is strict, exactly right in front of me. So I'm gonna open up my notebook, and it's gonna come up to exactly where we left it out. The only change is that you can see here, I have added students to my notebook. I added my daughter, my son, and my wife as students so that they can emulate what students would be like for you. So the first thing I'm going to do before I do anything is I'm going to set up my distribution group. That's up here at Class Notebooks, the distribute page, and then I do individual distribution groups. All right, so I can organize students into these groups. All right, so student group, and I'm going to call this first period. Checkbox there. And then I'm going to create another student group. Call it second period and add it there. Okay. I forgot to add my wife in there, so I hit the edit pencil and go back, add it, and there we are. That I have just added my groups. I am done with that. So now I can distribute pages freely between first period and second period. I have my mock classes set up the same way you would do for your classes. In this notebook, I have done the sample worksheet and the Texas Revolution worksheet here. I got rid of the Ben Franklin worksheet just because I didn't like how that looked. But the other one definitely works okay. And then I added in here a playable video about the Texas Revolution. This is just a YouTube video.
Anna, Davy Crockett, remember the Alamo! Lots of famous...
And there we have it. Okay? So you can put videos and everything on these pages. Now this is just a page that exists in my Welcome tab. I want to go through this for a few seconds and point out that anytime you build a notebook, it gives you default pages in the notebook. The class notebook, the Welcome tab gives you a breakdown of the student notebook, what it is, the content library, collaboration space, some FAQs, and then a trial to staff notebook. Within the content library, it gives you the using the content library tab, some basic breakdowns of what the content library is used for. The same with the collaboration space, and the same with the teacher only section. Now, I want to point something out here. We're going to work in the teacher only section right now. The teacher only section is basically designed for these things right here. Teacher only section is a group for great storing curriculum planning activities that are based that are being staged before moving into the content library. So this is your build area. This is like your sandbox in OneNote. So this is where you can do a whole lot of building. That's what the teacher workspace is for. You can stage a lot of it out. The actual instructional part is going to be in the content library. Think of the content library like a filing cabinet. Students can go into your filing cabinet and see what you have. They can't change anything. They have no permissions to do anything. It is strictly a repository for them to see. The teacher-only space is your area that you can build and notate and organize to your heart's content. Students can't see it. And then you've got the student-only sections where students can only see their stuff plus your content library and maybe the collaboration space. If you have it turned on, they'll be able to see it. If it's turned off, they can't do anything in it. Okay, so back to this. I have, in my Welcome tab, I have the 2 worksheets that I uploaded. I'm going to select both of those, and it's really as easy as dragging and dropping. I'm going to drop them into the Instructional Showcase tab that I created. And all I did is just right-click, new section, that, and then you can also do section groups, which is like file or tabs within tabs. Gets kind of granular that way. But here's my sample worksheet again from the camera upload, and then the print to OneNote section, the Texas Revolution. Now, this is my teacher only section. I'm not going to actually teach from here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select both of those, right click and copy. Okay. And then I'm going to copy them into the exact same folder name, the exact same tab name in the content library. Now students can see everything I do on here before I do anything else. These two worksheets are what I want students to have. I want them to take notes on this. One of them is going to be for notes. One of them is going to be for homework. So the sample worksheet, I'm going to say distribute page, group distribution, and I'm going to say I want my first period group to have the sample worksheet. Before I do that though, whenever I distribute it, it's going to be called sample worksheet in their sections as well. So I don't want to call this sample worksheet. I want to call it something else. We're going to call this May 1st class notes. Okay? And then Texas Revolution, I'm going to mock-up call this May 1st homework. Okay? So there we have it. Distribute page, group distribution. I want to do first period, and I'm going to put the class notes in their class note tab. Okay, so we're starting to put two and two together on this. And then the homework, same thing, same process. Cross notebook distribution. Oh, I don't want cross notebook. That's if I have other notebooks. You can do that. I want the individual and group distribution. And that is going to go into the homework tab. Okay. Pages are being distributed. It gives me the little hourglass to think about it. Now, you notice here under my sons and under my daughters and my sons, they have a little dot next to them. That means I made changes. There's something new in there. My wife does not have that because she's in that second period group. So I can now go into class notes and hey, there's class notes for Kinsley. There's class notes for Thomas. The reason I point this out is I can go into my instructional showcase on my class notes. I'm going to make this full screen and I'm going to bring up my draw menu. Now this is where it gets fancy, okay? I'm going to take my stylus. Every teacher has a stylus with their device. And I'm going to use OneNote, just like it's behind me here. This would be projected up on your projector, your short throw projector in your classroom. Now I can draw menu. Oh, I don't like how big that is, so I'm going to drop this down. So now instead of using a document camera and being tethered to that, you can see I am wireless. Yeah, this is the page you're looking at behind me. I am teaching. And you can use this with all of your highlight features in class. Now, here's the awesome part about this. And flip back up here. Currently, this is in our content library under our instructional showcase tab. This is my instructional area. All right, I'm using this for instruction. Students can see this. They can't do anything in this area. I'm in the content library. In the class notes area, this is still a blank page for students. In other words, I can go in and I can do a notebook check or a homework check or whatever by using the Review Student Work button. I want to review student work in the class notes area. Okay, and it brings this up. I want to show the May 1st, and then I want to lock pages. So no students can make any more changes from this point forward, like a due date. Think of it like turning in your homework. I'm going to lock that page. This is in this section of homework, my first class notes. I am locking that page for students. Okay, now, if I click on Kinsley Miller, it takes me right to Kinsley section. If I click on Thomas Miller, it takes me right to Thomas's section. I can check on their note-taking skills within this without having to take anything more home than my work computer. I can check up on homework without taking anything more home than my work computer. They can show work. They can highlight. They can annotate. They can do all the things that they would normally do on a worksheet or a homework sheet or anything like that right here. And it's still using a stylus. They have cheap little nubby styluses you can get. Students can get whatever. Students can still write and do this motion on the screen. That's the power of this. So you're no longer having to go to the copier to copy worksheets. You just have one and you scan it right into your notebook. That's the last one you'll ever need. I don't know if you've noticed this, but whenever I have the option to distribute page, it says cross notebook distribution. I can put this in one notebook and send it to 3 others. It just copies it. And then I can go in and I can lock student work. I can see their homework. I can see what they're working on. I can see their thought process on their work. I could even go into my students area. Let me unlock these. And I could leave that particular student a note on what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. I hope this turns a lot of people on to the idea of a class notebook in the instructional setting. This is not just a gimmicky thing. This could be a very powerful tool that gets teachers away from the copier, alleviates the strain on the copier, allows for no more missing schoolwork, no more missing work, because you can see who all has what pages and you can see it almost in real time. Once the notebooks are all hooked up, it's maybe a 10-second delay. It's not much. And as long as a student has a valid, decent Wi-Fi connection, it doesn't have to be fast. It just needs to be a Wi-Fi connection. Regular old DSL works fine for this. This is a valid option. I really hope you all enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next video series. We're implementing Microsoft Whiteboard into this as a possible potential replacement for your physical whiteboard up in the front of the class. Since the projector's already taking up some real estate there, why not use it on the computer? And it's a shared whiteboard, so your students would have access to it. And then we're also going to be talking about how to record your lessons and post them back to Canvas. So I hope you all have gotten a lot out of this. I have really enjoyed putting this together. And if you have any suggestions or whatnot, please feel free to email me, millern@pearlandisd.org. I'll be more than happy to answer questions. Thanks a lot. Have a fantastic day.